Salam sejahtera, anda sedang menyaksikan Niaga Awani bersama saya Nina Rozman. Seperti biasa, saat ini kami akan bawakan pelbagai perkembangan terkini niaga dan ekonomi bersama ahli panel jemputan. Tetapi hari ini kami akan bersiaran selama 1 jam sahaja sehingga 10 pagi di mana akan berlangsungnya persidangan di Parlimen pada bermula jam 10 pagi dan banyak yang topik dan tumpuan akan kami berikan menjelang Belanjawan 2024 di mana Jumaat ini kita bakal menyaksikan Perdana Menteri dan juga Menteri Kewangan Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim akan membentangkan Belanjawan Madani 2024. Apakah yang mungkin akan menjadi fokus utama dalam dokumen perancangan ekonomi 1 tahun ini serta bagaimana ia akan menggerakkan inisiatif penstrukturan ekonomi negara. Bersama saya di talian ketika ini adalah Dr. Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid, merupakan Ketua Ekonomi dan Kewangan Sosial Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad. Saya nak ucap terima kasih Doktor kerana sudi meluangkan masa bersama kami untuk hari pertama minggu ini, hari Isnin, dan hari Jumaat ini adalah pembentangan Belanjawan 2024. Doktor, mungkin boleh kongsikan apakah yang mungkin akan menjadi tumpuan utama dalam belanjawan kali ini?
Saya berpendapat tumpuan yang akan diberikan tak lain tak bukan isu-isu berkaitan dengan kenaikan kos sara hidup, mana kita sedia maklum beberapa barangan utama, terutamanya barangan yang berkaitan dengan makanan itu menjadi suatu kerisauan di kalangan rakyat Malaysia lah. Dan kalau pada bajet 2023 yang lalu diumumkan sumbangan tunai rahmah tu, saya rasa sumbangan tunai rahmah ni juga akan menjadi suatu fokus bagi rakyat lah. Mungkin rakyat menantikan mungkin ada pembayaran STR yang lebih tinggi. Kalau kita lihat untuk bajet 2023, bajet yang diberikan adalah 8 bilion ringgit dan penerimanya adalah 9 juta. Dari segi penerimanya. Jadi kalau kita bercakap tentang isu subsidi yang bakal dirasionalisasikan, adakah akan berlaku suatu bentuk peningkatan dari segi peruntukan bagi STR tersebut. Selain itu, beberapa isu seperti adakah cukai baru yang bakal diperkenalkan dan apakah impaknya kepada rakyat ataupun para peniaga, juga itu menjadi satu perhatian bagi saya pada bajet kali ini.
Baik, seperti yang Doktor kongsikan, antara aspek atau tumpuan yang akan diberikan dalam Belanjawan 2024 ini adalah aspek kenaikan kos sara hidup seperti penyaluran subsidi termasuk juga dengan cukai. Tapi sebelum itu, kita pergi lebih lanjut mengenai perkara ini. Doktor, bagaimana Belanjawan 2024 ini perlu selari dan menjadi penggerak kepada segala dasar yang diumumkan sebelum ini seperti NIMP, NETR serta kerangka ekonomi madani?
Betul. Okey, dokumen polisi yang telah diumumkan sebelum ini, NIMP, NETR, kerangka ekonomi madani, saya rasa ia sangat sinonim tentang isu berkait rapat tentang pembinaan kapasiti ataupun capacity building, dan sudah pasti ini melibatkan jumlah pelaburan yang tinggi dan ia memerlukan penglibatan daripada pihak swasta, dan peralihan ini perlu diurus, terutama kalau kita bercakap tentang tenaga boleh perbarui dan juga kenderaan elektrik dan sebagainya. Ia memerlukan suatu pimpinan lah daripada pihak kerajaan itu sendiri. Dan jadi suatu orang kata tu pertimbanganlah antara satu kala kita nak membantu rakyat di peringkat orang kata tu jangka pendek dari segi subsidinya, dari segi bantuan langsungnya dan sebagainya, pada masa sama untuk peringkat jangka masa penengahan dan juga jangka panjang, apakah Belanjawan 2024 ini dia punya persediaan dari segi pembinaan kapasitinya.
Jadi mungkin bercakap mengenai ekonomi, apa bentuk penstrukturan ekonomi yang bakal kita saksikan? Adakah akan ada perincian khusus melibatkan cukai-cukai? Seperti kita tahu, apabila bercakap mengenai cukai, bukan topik kegemaran semua. Namun kita harus fahami bagaimanakah cukai ini reflect kepada keadaan ekonomi kita ketika ini, yang melibatkan cukai-cukai seperti cukai keuntungan model CGT, cukai minimum global, termasuk juga dengan pengenalan cukai baharu seperti cukai barang dan perkhidmatan GST.
Betul. Saya rasa isu yang kurang digemari ataupun kurang popular sebenarnya perlu dibincangkan, perlu dikongsi, kerana pihak kerajaan telah pun meletakkan suatu sasaran defisit fiskal iaitu antara 3% hingga 3.5% pada tahun 2025 seperti yang termaktub dalam kajian separuh penggal Rancangan Malaysia yang ke-12. Jadi tanpa sebarang orang kata tu perkongsian ini akan menyebabkan ketidakpastian di kalangan para peserta pasaran modal, para peniaga, dan sudah pasti saya rasa bajet 2024 merupakan suatu platform yang amat sesuai untuk pihak kerajaan orang kata tu berkongsi tentang rancangan untuk bagaimana strategi untuk meningkatkan pendapatan ataupun hasil ni perlu diterjemahkan ataupun dikongsilah supaya kita tahu apakah impaknya. Kalau kata nak buat GST kembali, apakah kadarnya, apakah timeline-nya, kalau CGT, cukai keuntungan modal, macam mana dia punya treatment-nya dan sebagainya. Jadi perincian-perincian ini saya rasa akan dikongsi supaya strategi untuk memastikan kedudukan keuangan kerajaan itu kekal mampan. Dan saya juga mengharapkan kalau boleh pada perjanjian kali ini akan juga diberi penekanan tentang Fiscal Responsibility Act, FRA, kerana saya rasa itu merupakan suatu perkara yang telah pun dibicarakan sebelum ini. Kalau dapat direalisasikan, sudah pasti ia akan dapat menambah kredibiliti kerajaan dalam mentadbir keuangan mereka.
Doktor, everyone will be looking at Belanjawan 2024. Kita tahu bukan daripada rakyat tapi daripada segi pemain industri, korporat, swasta. Dan bercakap mengenai subsidi yang Doktor kongsikan tadi, menurut Perdana Menteri, subsidi ditanggung kerajaan dijangka mencecah RM81 bilion tahun ini. Satu nilai yang besar di sebalik tekanan kos sara hidup ketika ini. Adakah kita boleh jangkakan bakal berlaku penstrukturan subsidi pada Belanjawan kali ini?
Kita pun telah dimaklumkan bahawa pengekalan data utama atau pepadu merupakan suatu wadah utama kerajaan dalam merealisasikan impian bagi terus subsidi. Saya berkira tentang padu ni sebagai satu database lah yang dikira robust dan seterusnya apakah yang perlu diangkat dari segi dasarnya. Adakah kita akan menyaksikan mekanisme terbaru bagaimana subsidi itu akan diberikan? Itu saya rasa akan dibincangkanlah. Tapi yang saya nampak mungkin berlaku peralihan lah. Maksudnya daripada subsidi kepada bantuan cash yang lebih bersasar, dan ini akan melibatkan peralihan lah daripada ataupun berlaku penjimatan dalam subsidi, dan penjimatan itu akan dapat disalurkan dengan kalau katalah STR tu sebagai contoh, mungkin dapat ditambahkan lagi dia punya peruntukan itu. Jadi rakyat yang menerima ataupun golongan yang layak menerima bantuan tersebut akan mempunyai lebih dana atau lebih mempunyai keupayaan keuangan dalam menghadapi isu berkait rapat tentang kenaikan kos sara hidup. Jadi saya rasa angka 81 bilion telah pun dikongsi. Jadi perkara seterusnya apakah yang akan dilakukan, dan telah dimaklumkan bahawa padu ini akan dilaksanakan pada tahun hadapan, Januari 2024 lebih kurang. Jadi dengan data tersebut, bagaimana data tersebut akan digunakan untuk menyalurkan bantuan itu kepada mereka yang betul-betul layak.
Plan dah ada, tinggal kita nak execute dia lebih terperinci lagi. Saya nak bercakap mengenai defisit fiskal, Doktor. Adakah mampu untuk kerajaan turunkan kadar defisit fiskal ke bawah 5%?
Betul. Saya melihat kalau tahun ini jangkaannya ada lebih kurang 93 bilion, dan data setakat 8 bulan pertama telah pun mencecah 47 bilion. Kalau kita ambil 47 bilion bagi dengan 93 bilion itu lebih kurang 50%. Maksudnya dah 8 bulan setengah kita dah capai. Maksudnya untuk tahun ini jangkaan 5% defisit fiskal bagi tahun 2023 ini nampak gayanya on track lah. Kemungkinan untuk dia lebih rendah itu mungkin ada juga. Jadi bergerak ke hadapan, kerana kerajaan telah pun menyatakan komitmen untuk merendahkan defisit itu ke paras 3% ke 3.5%. Jadi perlu ada tindakan susulan, apakah bentuk dasar dari segi hasilnya, dari segi perbelanjaannya itu. Maksudnya kita bercakap tentang dasar cukai lah, cukai dan dasar perbelanjaan berkaitan dengan subsidi itu, apakah yang dilaksanakan untuk mencapai sasaran defisit tersebut.
Menjelang Belanjawan 2024 ni, seperti yang Doktor kongsikan, banyak aspek yang akan diberi tumpuan seperti cukai, subsidi, terutamanya dalam aspek kos sara hidup. Dan kita berharap dokumen perancangan 1 tahun ini bukan sekadar dokumen tetapi kertas, tetapi ia mampu juga merealisasikan penstrukturan semula ekonomi negara. Sekali lagi saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada Dr. Muhammad Azam Nizam Abdul Rashid, merupakan Ketua Ekonomi dan Kewangan Sosial Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad, dan semua ini akan kami rangkumkan dalam astro.com dan semua platform digital Astro Awani. Bursa Malaysia dijangka diniagakan rendah minggu ini berikutan kenaikan kadar faedah, harga minyak yang lebih tinggi dan dolar Amerika yang lebih kukuh. Ketua Ekonomi dan Pengurus Dana Inter-Pacific Asset Management Berhad, Datuk Nazri Khan berkata, wan perbendaharaan Amerika Syarikat yang rendah telah menguatkan pandangan bahawa Rizab Persekutuan Amerika Syarikat akan meminta lebih banyak kenaikan kadar dalam tempoh 12 bulan akan datang. Di peringkat domestik, katanya keadaan pasaran secara keseluruhannya masih berhati-hati dengan kebimbangan mengenai prospek ekonomi global yang lembap menguasai sentimen yang boleh menyebabkan FBM KLCI terus bergerak ke arah 1,400 mata dalam tempoh terdekat. Nazri berkata saham berharga rendah dan saham pasaran secara menyeluruh turut cuba mencari kestabilan selepas mencatatkan penurunan baru-baru ini. Katanya mereka melihat trend ini berterusan dalam tempoh terdekat berikutan keadaan pasaran yang lebih tenang yang dapat membantu saham ini mencari lebih banyak kestabilan dalam masa terdekat. Bagi minggu lepas, FBM KLCI diniagakan kebanyakannya rendah dalam persekitaran ketidaktentuan yang berterusan di Wall Street, sentimen berhati-hati dan kekurangan pemangkin baharu. Bagi asas Jumaat ke Jumaat, FBM KLCI merosot 7.29 mata untuk mengakhiri minggu lalu kepada 1,416.88 berbanding 1,424.17 pada 2 minggu sebelumnya. Ringgit dijangka kekal lemah minggu ini, diniagakan antara RM4.71 hingga RM4.73 berbanding dolar Amerika Syarikat minggu ini. Ketua Ekonomi dan Kewangan Sosial Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad, Dr. Muhammad Azam Nizam Abdul Rashid berkata, ringgit secara amnya berada pada kecenderungan yang lebih lemah minggu lepas apabila data terus menunjukkan ekonomi Amerika Syarikat dalam kedudukan kukuh. Beliau berkata tumpuan pasaran tempatan minggu ini ialah pembentangan belanjawan 2024. Pada asas Jumaat ke Jumaat, ringgit melemah berbanding dolar Amerika Syarikat kepada 4.7115 daripada 4.6930 yang direkodkan dalam minggu sebelumnya. Sementara itu, ringgit diniagakan bercampur-campur berbanding mata wang utama lain. Ia menokok berbanding euro kepada 4.9720, susut berbanding yen Jepun kepada 3.1612, melonjak berbanding pound Britain kepada 5.7494. Dalam pada itu, ringgit juga diniagakan bercampur-campur berbanding mata wang ASEAN. Kontrak niaga hadapan minyak sawit mentah MSM di Bursa Malaysia Derivatives dijangka diniagakan dalam sentimen berhati-hati minggu ini. Berikutan pelabur menunggu kejelasan lanjut daripada data stok dan ekspor terkini. Ketua Penyelidikan Komoditi Sunwin Group yang berpangkalan di Mumbai, Anil Kumar Vagani berkata, pasaran memantau dengan teliti anggaran pengeluaran Persatuan Minyak Sawit Malaysia MPOA yang dipercayai untuk mengukuhkan idea pengeluaran. Lembaga Minyak Sawit Malaysia MPOB juga akan mengeluarkan laporan prestasi industri untuk September 2023 esok. Anil Kumar berkata, petunjuk baru-baru ini oleh UOB Kekhian menunjukkan pengeluaran minyak sawit Malaysia meningkat 5 hingga 9% bulan ke bulan pada bulan lepas, lebih tinggi daripada anggaran pasaran sebelumnya iaitu peningkatan 2 hingga 5%. Bagi tempoh 5 hari pertama bulan Oktober, Intertek Testing Services menganggarkan ekspor minyak sawit Malaysia dalam tempoh tersebut sebanyak 159,820 tan, berosot 15.57% daripada 189,285 tan yang diujurkan untuk tempoh 1 hingga 5 September. Bagi minggu lalu, niaga hadapan MSM diniagakan rendah berikutan pelabur menilai pelbagai petunjuk penawaran dan permintaan untuk bulan lepas dan awal Oktober, termasuk pergerakan pasaran niaga hadapan minyak kacang soya dan harga minyak mentah. Berita mengenai plan kerajaan untuk memperluas program biodiesel B10 dan cadangannya untuk mengurangkan levi keuntungan luar biasa menggalakkan belian pada pertengahan minggu sebelum pasaran merosot berikutan bimbang mengenai permintaan. Jumaat lalu, penanda aras niaga hadapan MSM merosot kepada paras terendah dalam tempoh lebih 3 bulan. Pada asas mingguan, kontrak Oktober 2023 berkurangan RM127 kepada RM3,562 satu tan, November 2023 susut RM159 kepada RM3,573 satu tan dan Disember 2023 merosot RM167 kepada RM3,600 satu tan. Malaysian Research Accelerator for Technology and Innovation Meranti telah melantik Datuk Dr. Rais Hussein Muhammad Arif sebagai Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif baharunya berkuat kuasa hari ini. Agensi itu berkata Rais yang mengambil alih jawatan daripada pemangku CEO dan Ketua Pegawai Komersial Khairil Anwar Sadat mempunyai pengalaman lebih 28 tahun dan rekod kepimpinan yang kukuh dalam pelbagai sektor. Dalam peranan baharunya, Rais akan bertanggungjawab memacu visi strategik Meranti dan menyelia operasi hariannya. Ia juga berkata beliau mempunyai pengalaman luas dalam bidang telekomunikasi, teknologi dan keusahawanan. Dalam pada itu, Rais berkata bila komited untuk menyumbang secara signifikan kepada pertumbuhan dan kejayaan organisasi itu sebagai pemecut teknologi dan inovasi serta mengukuhkan ekosistem inovasi di Malaysia. Sementara itu, pengerusi meranti Profesor Dr. Rofina Yasmin Othman berkata, pengalaman luas Rais dan pemahaman mendalam mengenai nilai teknologi dan inovasi akan memainkan peranan penting dalam mengemudi meranti mencapai kejayaan yang berterusan. Meranti adalah agensi pengkomersialan Malaysia yang mempunyai sumber untuk mempercepatkan pengkomersialan idea-idea inovatif yang akan memacu impak. Niaga Awani akan berhenti rehat seketika, kita kembali selepas ini.
Kami digelar 6 jana sebabnya kami sangat akrab dan mungkin kami sedikit nakal kot masa tu.
Budak-budak tim kriket ni ada masalah disiplin kan? Ponting, rosak harta benda, mencuri.
Kita orang benci kriket. Cikgu yang paksa kita orang main.
Kata kau semua tolong saya. Saya janji lepas menang, kau semua tak payah ada dalam tim kriket saya.
Di dalam setiap berita yang dibawa, konteks amat penting. Cara kita mendapat berita kian berubah. Melalui media sosial maupun saluran digital yang lain serta kaca TV. Kami sentiasa membawakan yang tergempar dan terkini.
Ini perkembangan yang baru kami terima.
Berteraskan acuan verifikasi yang diamalkan supaya setiap fakta adalah sahih. Daripada analisis pelbagai sudut yang mendalam, laporan-laporan khas dan perbincangan yang membina negara. Inklusif, suara rakyat kami ajukan. Keseimbangan persepsi kami pastikan. Kerana setiap cerita mempunyai impak yang tersendiri dan perlu dibawa dengan penelitian yang terperinci. Pastikan Astro Awani menjadi pilihan anda tidak kira di mana sahaja anda berada. Saluran berita paling dipercayai di Malaysia.
Kerjasama strategik 4 usahawan yang bergelar Ibu melakar petanda positif apabila syarikat Mommy Gorgeous Resources yang diasaskan setahun lalu kini mula menjadi bualan peminat kek dan usahawan vendor. Beroperasi di Taman Sena Permai, Tasik Gelugur, Pulau Pinang, premis tersebut yang berkonsepkan bakery cafe menawarkan pelbagai jenis kek menarik, pencuci mulut dan snack pada harga bajet. Ahli Mommy Gorgeous Nur Hayanti Ismail, 42 tahun, memberitahu gabungan kepakaran 4 usahawan ternyata melonjak perniagaan Mommy Gorgeous berbanding sebelum ini di mana mereka beroperasi secara solo. Selain itu, konsep bakery cafe yang diperkenalkan juga membezakan Mommy Gorgeous dengan perniagaan bakery lain kerana ia membolehkan pelanggan menikmati menu di dalam premis yang turut menyediakan produk sedia dimakan.
Selama ni kami berjalan sendiri, dia kurang ke depan, tapi memandangkan bila kita bergabung tu dia lebih lagi terselah, dan juga bila kita gunakan digital platform di mana bila 4 usahawan bergabung serentak, nama Mommy Gorgeous tu walaupun setahun berbanding dengan sebelum ni dia lebih ke depan dan senang untuk dikenali lah. Gorgeous ni melambangkan produk yang kami bawa tu produk yang cantik dan keterampilan lah. Di sini kita punya produk utama adalah kek. Kita mengeluarkan kek slice, kek potong dan juga kek birthday dalam harga yang bajet lah.
Selepas setahun beroperasi, pendekatan gabungan antara usahawan dilaksanakan Mami Gorgeous menarik perhatian agensi di bawah Kementerian Kemajuan Desa dan Wilayah serta Program Aktiviti Ekonomi Tambahan AET di bawah pihak berkuasa kemajuan pekebun kecil Perusahaan Getah Risda. Selain itu, ia turut mendapat sokongan SME Corp Pulau Pinang dan Lembaga Kemajuan Wilayah Pulau Pinang Perda kerana turut membantu vendor lain memasarkan produk mereka.
Semuanya memandang Mami Gorgeous ni sebagai satu contoh untuk dijadikan contoh kepada usahawan-usahawan lain lah, sebab kami memberikan satu konsep gabungan antara usahawan-usahawan. Setakat ni alhamdulillah kita mendapat sambutan penduduk sekitar dan ada juga dari jauh, sebab kita menggunakan platform digital tu sendiri. Bila kita masuk dalam platform-platform tu, orang lebih kenal dan ada pelanggan kita yang sanggup datang dari jauh semata-mata nak dapatkan kek kita. So setengah tu kita terkejut sebab datang dari jauh semata-mata nak beli sebiji kek yang berharga RM25. Dan bila kita tanya dari mana dia dapatkan kita punya alamat kedai, nombor telefon, dia orang search dalam platform media lah, digital lah.
Ujar Nur Hayati, untuk masa hadapan, pihaknya akan mengeluarkan lebih banyak produk atas nama Mami Gorgeous serta membekalkannya kepada premis lain di samping menjadi platform kepada usahawan lain untuk memasarkan produk mereka. According to the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry Malaysia, progressed remarkably since the Third Industrial Master Plan IMP3 between 2006 and 2020. During this period, the manufacturing sector contributed approximately 24% to Malaysia's gross domestic product GDP, demonstrating its significant role in shaping the nation's economy. Hence, right now, we want to look into the journey towards digital transformation, specifically in the manufacturing industry. And right now, ready on the line is Hamanta Banerjee, the Vice President of Public Cloud Data Services and Rackspace. It's fantastic to have you, Hamanta. Hamanta, how is data currently driving innovation in the manufacturing industry? Let's start with Malaysia first.
Sure. So, I mean, in today's connected, so like you rightly said, manufacturing contributes roughly 24% of Malaysia's GDP. So driving innovation within that sector is really critical to ensure that Malaysia continues to grow in the new connected world. So in today's connected world, organizations are really dependent on partners across the supply chain to drive efficiency. And you can achieve this only by capturing the signals that are getting generated across the supply chain and then using that to drive innovations, drive efficiency, in the products and services that you provide. There are lots of examples that I could take. For example, sensor data from your machines and devices can be used to drive predictive maintenance and quality control. Customer data from online platforms such as Shopee and social media can enable you to deliver personalized products and services. Of course, Malaysia is at the forefront of these initiatives. We have been studying industry forward, which is helping to fund the upskilling and implementation of outcome-based solutions within the manufacturing sector, drive innovations, drive labor productivity. And I think initiatives like that will really help to, to achieve the fourth industrial revolution by year 2030 as envisioned by the government of Malaysia.
Definitely, this is to increase efficiency. And how many companies are leveraging on technologies like IoT, automations, machine learning, and even AI for data-driven innovation in manufacturing?
Yeah. So again, in order for you to be competitive in the global marketplace, manufacturers need to embrace digital transformation and need to embrace technologies like IoT, machine learning, AI, digitization, and so on. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to eliminate kind of manual activities that a lot of organizations perform today. It allows manufacturers to collect, analyze, and act on data from various sources, such as their machines, customers, social media, in almost real time. And by using these innovations, manufacturers can improve their productivity, quality, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. So it really touches all aspects of the business. So they can use it to drive efficiency in their back office. They can also use it to create new products, services, and business models to meet the changing needs of the customers in this millennium.
With every innovation comes also with, we can say, opportunities, but also followed by challenges. What are the challenges and concerns related to data manufacturing, including issues like data residency and centralization versus decentralization?
Yeah, so I think some of these challenges Malaysian government has already recognized, and it's part of the Industry Forward program in place. So there are kind of three major challenges that we foresee as service provider on public cloud, working with a lot of manufacturing organizations in Malaysia. The first and most important is talent shortage. So how do we make sure that we have the right set of skilled resources within the country to ensure that we can not only take the first step in digital transformation, but we can continue to evolve, extend, and keep up to speed with what else is happening in the industry. So spending resources to ensure that we have the right training for the citizens of Malaysia to make them digitally aware and is really critical. The second is cost of implementation. A lot of organizations have to choose between automation, digitization versus running their business. Helping them kind of get over the initial hump by providing funding, I think will really help organizations to embrace digitalization and to start to see the gains that they can achieve from doing automation. And lastly, most important, I think, is the infrastructure, right? Ensuring that it is secured, ensuring that the national interests of Malaysia are followed, ensure that all the data processing capabilities can be leveraged in a cost-effective and secure kind of manner is super critical.
And that are the challenges that we must address critically and urgently. And how about the strategies being employed to break down data silos and optimize data usage for innovation in manufacturing?
A large number of organizations that we work with are following some very basic strategies to make sure they're ahead of the curve in terms of meeting these challenges. The first is use reliable infrastructure to deploy these applications. So there's a lot of innovation happening on public cloud, whether it's AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. So use the right cloud infrastructure, which provides scalable processing capabilities and allowing you to share data across locations, across regions, across the entire supply chain with your partners. Use technologies that allow you to embed these innovations within your business processes, as opposed to being in silos. So that ensures that you're getting adoption across your entire organization. And lastly, think of security as a day one concern. Ensure that you're thinking about protecting your data right from day one, as opposed to something that you add on at a later point once the application is running. These three kind of working together ensures that your innovation or your digitization strategy is scalable, and you can continue to invest in it over the years.
And these are the things that we must identify. And how about the policies? Are current policies support the transform of this ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, we see a number of good goals set in the Industry Forward. I think continuing to expand on those policies will really help make the digitization and the automation of the manufacturing sector in Malaysia sustainable. So there are a couple of simple things that we discussed. What we would hope happens is allocate more resources to help businesses achieve resilience through the use of cloud and data across the sector. You can achieve that by funding outcome-driven projects to drive digitalization and automation of business processes and to drive innovation. In addition, upskilling of workforce, right from schools and universities, as well as upskilling of lateral workforce to ensure that these changes are ingrained within the organization and helps not only the organizations but also helps the citizens of Malaysia. And our hope is that we continue to see ourselves as a partner to help Malaysian organizations achieve the digital transformation goal.
Basically, all the aspects you have just touched, from the factors of the challenges and the solutions, in the upcoming Belanjawan 2024 that will be tabled and presented this incoming Friday, what is your hope, your budget wish list when it comes to the upcoming budget?
Yeah, so so I'm hoping that there are specific announcements against funding initiatives for the manufacturing sector to help them leverage cloud and AI technologies for both driving efficiencies in their organization, as well as to help them, drive innovations in their products and services that they deliver to their customers. And any announcements around, enabling of the workforce, especially the lateral workforce in organizations, and helping them become data and AI aware, would also be something that we are looking forward to.
All right, definitely as we delve deeper into the journey towards a digital transformation in the manufacturing industry, I want to say thank you very much for this interesting share. I want to say thank you to Hemanta Banerjee, the Vice President of Public Cloud Data Services at Rackspace. And stay tuned as Niaga AWANI will be taking a short break and return with my colleague Najib Arul, who will be discussing further into the aging society. What are benefits and how can we understand the silver economy moving forward? And we'll be taking a short break and we'll be right back.
Eksklusif di Astro. Saksikan JDT, Sabah FC dan Terengganu FC dalam perlawanan penuh berprestij.
Musim ini musim terbaik. JDT berjaya mendapatkan gol yang dicari-cari mereka.
Demi menjulang maruah negara, Harimau Melaya bakal menentang pencabar Asia di Pesta Bola Merdeka. Semua ini secara langsung dan eksklusif. Switch sekarang.
Hai, saya Nala Huda, kakak fiber anda. Dan hari ini saya ada satu soalan nak share dari Aida Bahar. Dia tanya, Wi-Fi cover satu rumah ke? Handphone boleh cover? Dah tentu Astro Fiber dengan router canggih Wi-Fi 6 boleh cover satu rumah, satu family boleh pakai. Bukan saja semua handphone boleh jimat data pakai Wi-Fi. Anak-anak nak buat homework online pun senang. Ini ada satu lagi tips jimat kita nak bagi tahu. Bila you nak keluar rumah, downloadlah cerita siap-siap dekat Astro Go app tu. Lepas tu, boleh layan dalam train, dalam kereta, dalam flight. Tak kacau data handphone you langsung. Jimat dah tu Aida. Ada lagi soalan? Tanyalah. Gunakan hashtag Tanya Kakak Fiber. Okey?
Banjir ini luar biasa.
Lan ni memang menyeramkan.
Setiap masalah dihadapi bangsa pasti ada punca dan dalangnya. Tugas kami untuk mencari, mendengar dan membongkar sebarang isu atau masalah agar ada penyelesaian. Setiap sudut akan diteliti, penjelasan semua pihak akan diamati. Tiada fakta yang akan disembunyi.
Kita bongkar semua, dedah sampai habis.
Mendedahkan kepincangan, rasuah dan masalah rakyat jadi tanggungjawab yang kami galas. 501 Bongkar, terpaling dedah.
Menurut data yang dikeluarkan oleh DOSM ataupun Jabatan Perangkaan Malaysia, melihat kepada siapa yang lahir pada tahun 2023, statistik jangka hayat yang dikaji adalah sebanyak 74.8 tahun usianya. Dan juga pada tahun 2013, usia ini jangkaannya adalah 74.5. Ini bermakna ada pertambahan jangka hayat tersebut, dan ini juga mencerminkan bahawa populasi kita akan berdepan dengan ramainya warga yang lebih berusia dan juga warga emas ini, yang ini menjadi permasalahan kepada ekonomi secara keseluruhannya jika tidak kita tangani dari segi ekosistem dan juga persediaan kita dalam segenap aspek. Bagaimana untuk kita melihat kepada negara kita yang bakal menuju kepada negara tua menjelang 2030 ataupun lebih awal dari segi segenap aspek, dan juga apa keperluan yang perlu kita lihat dalam aspek ekonomi dan juga polisi di peringkat kerajaan dan masyarakat secara keseluruhannya. Itu yang ingin saya bincangkan pada episod dan juga jam pada kali ini. Saya bersama dengan Managing Director Hayat Senior iaitu Jasmine Amirul Ghani. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us. Now, first of all, we are moving towards aging society by 2030, if not earlier than that, right? So how does the aging population impact the economies and also workforce as a whole for Malaysia?
That's a very good and valid question. I think we are, as you know, we are already in an aging society. We are moving towards an aged society, and I think by 2050 we'll be a super aged society, very similar to Japan. And so what that means is we will be facing a shrinking working age population. So the more older people that we have above 65, we will start to see a shrinking working age population. And already today we're seeing a lot of employers finding it very difficult to find talent to fill their jobs and the vacancies. So I think for me it's about having employers start to rethink how they hire and who they hire. So employers need to start to see that there is a potential to hire older workers, whether it's people in their 50s or 60s or 70s, to fill some of these gaps. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just for full-time roles. It can be for part-time roles or contract roles. Wherever you see there is a talent gap, that is a potential to consider hiring older workers. And so that's what one of the things that Hire Seniors does, which is where we connect older workers to companies that are open to hiring older workers.
Yeah. Based on experience at Hire Seniors, how do you see the role of seniors overall in the workforce evolving in the coming years?
So we are already seeing, actually since we started Hire Seniors about 5 years ago, we are seeing a lot more seniors wanting to return to work. And in fact, it's not necessarily, some of them will want to come back to work because they need the financial support, but some of them just want to do something with their spare time. Kadang-kadang it's just, you know, they're bored at home, after retire, they jaga cucu, and then after a while, they're macam dah boring, then they're like, okay lah, I think I want to do something with my time to feel productive again. So we are seeing more and more of that. And I think at the same time, there's an opportunity for them to come back and work on a part-time basis with availability of technology, you know, Zoom and all that. So that is something that's an option available to them as well. So I think, that's one of the things.
Because a lot of people, a lot of views says that a lot of people wanted to, you know, retire early, and the societies basically don't want to work beyond 60 years old. But based on your data, it says otherwise, right? In light of the retirement crisis that we are facing right now, in terms of not enough savings in the EPF and all that, how do you see that Hire Senior and all these initiatives is one of the best solutions that we should push and propel further?
I think it's absolutely important, because you know the larger the segment grows, because we are heading there very, very quickly, much faster than all the other countries, right? At a speed as similar to Japan. So it is actually very important for us to prepare for this, to be able to get employers more open to the concept of hiring older workers. I think for the government as well, that's something that they need to really, really focus and start to think about, because this can potentially become quite a problem if there's a lot of, because I think we have a lot of, from the time you retire, and age expectancy, there is a good 20 years of productive time that you can do so much in that time. So I think this is something that we would love to see more policies that support to encourage more employers to be more open towards hiring seniors. And at the same time, there was a My Step program that was run by MOF dengan Khazanah and Perkeso. And that was a very wonderful program that helped to encourage employers to try out hiring older workers. Yeah. So, and we saw something like 80% success rate after that program. Maknanya, they were placed in some of these employers for 6 months. After that 6-month program too, we saw about 80% of them continue to be retained by the employers. So you realize that this is a kind of program that encourages people to just try out and see, actually it's not so bad. You know, this is actually something that could work for me. There are a lot of other policies that could be put in place, macam training and lifelong learning is something that's important as well. This is something that we could consider doing to encourage more people to return to the workforce, just to sort of brush up their punya technology skills, encourage lifelong learning, so that you are able to retain your mental faculties and keep using your brain as a muscle, so that you keep sharp.
I think it's not just we should focus on the aspect of hiring. It's also about building up ecosystem that supports the whole idea of hiring them, because at the age of 60, I mean, it's the same concept when we say that about supporting more women into the workforce by providing the care, for instance, etc. So having aging societies, we need to cater different sets of problems and different sets of challenges. So what do you think that we need in the ecosystem to support them? Because at that particular age, we will face different groups of age societies, right? Those who are healthy, those who have medical condition, etc. But how do you see the whole ecosystem must be supporting the ideas of getting them into the workforce?
I think it really does start from, if you're talking about hiring, it really does start at the employer side. So there is a lot of perception issues that we have to deal with. So many people have come up to me and just said, for one thing, they go, if we hire more seniors, that's going to deny the younger people jobs. You've heard that.
I mean, there's the argument, right?
Correct. Everyone's heard that, kan? And it's absolutely not true. And you don't have to take my word for it. I've spoken to the wonderful people at World Bank, and when I told them that, they actually smiled. They gave me a report. They kata, you read this report.
The data says otherwise.
The data says otherwise. The data actually proves that the more older workers work, in the economy, it stimulates the economy, and as a result, there are more jobs for younger workers. At the same time, it was also supported by the fact that older workers punya jobs that you hire older workers for barely overlaps with what jobs you hire younger workers for.
It's complement, basically. It's complement the younger.
Yes. So, like, for example, you would not hire a fresh graduate to clear your accounting backlog. Sebab the fresh graduate tak ada experience, kan? You would hire a senior. So, and we've had cases, where real life people were hired just for maybe a few months at a time to come in and just clear accounting backlog, for example. So there is no overlap. So that is a perception that we need to address. The other common perception is that they cost more to hire. They always say, oh, if I hire a retiree, I have to pay them what they were earning at the point of retirement. You've heard that, kan? Again, not true. Simply because you pay based on the job, not based on the person. So maknanya we've had people that come in, katakan dia retire as a senior finance manager, earning maybe 30,000. Sekarang dia kata, I tak nak stress lagi, I just want to do payroll. And she took a job that paid her 3,000 ringgit, and everybody was happy. So it starts with addressing the perception. At the same time, it's also about, I believe, enabling more, support from the government to create that ecosystem that encourages it. So that means there has to be legislation in place to outlaw age discrimination. You've seen ads in the papers that says, this job is open to someone who is 30 and below. That is something that we need to outlaw, kan, in terms of it should be open to whoever is appropriate for the job. Right? So I think there's a lot more support and policies that need to be put in place to enable this whole ecosystem to work very well.
Yeah, that is the side of the policies and also employer. But for individuals and societies, what do they need to do to prepare for this shift?
So I think for individuals, it's important to continue learning, to keep abreast with the latest technology, not to be scared of learning new things, right? So if you've got grandchildren, ask them to teach you how to use the smartphone, how to use Google Maps, how to use Google Drive, how to, use all these things. We find that a lot of people tend to be takut malu kan, malu tak tahu how to use it. So I think it's important to just be open and learn. And try, and before you know it, you'll be able to pick it up. I have so many stories, along those lines about how, older people have been scared initially, and then now they cannot stop using Grab, for example, So it's all about learning, and I think it's also important to have a support network. So I think it would be great to be able to have communities out there that can support other seniors who want to return to work as well.
We talk about experience that these seniors possess that can contribute positively towards the economy as a whole and company, of course. But how do you see the senior employees contribute in terms of knowledge transfer within the companies so that it can improve the whole workforce in that particular company?
So we've seen from experience that one of the key areas that really worked well was in terms of business relationships. So when they hire someone who's retired, for example, this person tends to come with a lot of existing business relationships. So he's able to leverage on his business contacts and benefits the companies. We've also seen many that because they've worked for so many years, there was one guy that went back and worked as, he used to do customs clearance, and that was all he knew. So he came back and he helped with a custom clearance backlog because of his experience. So I think there's a lot, as long as employers are open to it, there's a lot of experience that can come to bear and benefit companies that are open to hiring older workers.
But do you think that there's an also idea and also arguments that say that we should have a specific industry for seniors, workforce? How do you see, and what's your take on this particular idea?
A specific industry that's just for seniors. Oh, I've not heard of that. That's interesting. I'm not sure how that would be
possible to do.
I'm not sure how that would work, but I think that there is the concept of the silver economy, which is basically the business of providing products and services that is specifically tailored towards seniors. And I think hiring older workers to be a part of the silver economy could work. So I'll give you an example. If you are, let's say, promoting your care residents or your senior living homes, katakan, and you get a young 25-year-old to try and promote it to a 65-year-old, it may not work as well as if you have a fellow person who is also 65 saying how great this senior home is, and this is something you should consider moving to. So I think there are opportunities for seniors to work in the silver economy. But as a whole, I don't think there is a specific industry, to answer your question. I think it should be across the board. In fact, in higher seniors, when we look back at the data, there is no one specific industry that you can say that, oh, this industry hires a lot of seniors. Tak ada. It's across the board, and it really depends on the openness of the employer to see, oh, I think I can use their skills, let me hire them.
How can we best understand the productivity levels if we hire all these seniors? Because that's the thought that, and the thing that people still argue and debate about, right? Because right now our productivity is stagnant in that sense, overall for our economy. How do we convince them, or by hiring seniors, the productivity levels would be somewhat higher than what we've seen right now?
I think it's about using seniors for specific gaps and their expertise. So if you have a specific gap in your current company, and you think that, I could get someone in perhaps on a short-term basis to help me fill that gap or to solve a particular problem based on their experience, I think that's where the mutual benefit could come into play. And there could also be, I think we've seen roles where potentially younger workers, they're not interested to do. That's when they've turned to see, okay, maybe we can look at hiring older workers to fill those roles, and therefore helping the company to boost their productivity. So that could work as well.
Do you see that technological advancements is one of the one of the challenges that we must solve in terms of hiring seniors? Because I'm not saying that we shouldn't go for automation and all that, but then automation would eventually reduce the numbers of jobs that we can create in the industry, especially for seniors. But how do you see the whole situation? Technological advancements, would that hinder all the efforts and initiatives to hire more seniors?
I think it would really very much depend on the industry that you're looking at. I think at the end of the day, it could complement what the seniors do. The seniors obviously need to keep abreast with technological advances. And I think it's also interesting to see how technology can also supplement and be part of the silver economy that provides things to aid older workers as well as the older generation. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. Yeah.
How do you see the AI and also the AI, artificial intelligence, would it help the whole initiatives to hire more seniors, or would that be the main challenges for hiring seniors?
I think again it really depends on the job. I think AI, there's a limit to what it can do right now.
Still need human.
Correct, right? It supplements and it assists. But I think when it comes to things like relationships and business relationships, opening doors, I think that's where experience and skills, come to play. And that's something that cannot be replaced by
a lot of efforts, especially at high seniors, yourself, and also other segment of societies, have been comments in terms of hiring seniors and also providing the whole ecosystem. But we have Belanjawan 2024 around the corner. But what do you hope the government should focus on in terms of Belanjawan 2024? I know this is annual budget for 1 year. But then for the short period under Belanjawan 2024 and also for longer term until 2023, what's your hope?
I really hope that they take a long-term view in terms of how to encourage a continuous employment of older workers. It would be good to see the MyStep program reinstated for older workers, because that program has a track record and it really proved to be very effective at getting employers to be more open to hiring seniors. At the same time, I think it's just more of having more thought and policy thoughts put into place to see that, to look at how we can encourage more employers, to incentivize employers really, to hire older workers. So it's not just giving employers an incentive, but it's sort of saying, look, if you hire X amount, you get this incentive. If you increase more and more, or if you train them up, it is basically encouraging and having a framework around that to encourage more employers to be more open and to hire them. Because at the end of the day, it's about, I believe, it's about economic sustainability of the older generation. So if this is something that is ignored today, it will start to multiply and the problem will get bigger and bigger as we progress and become an aged and a super aged society. So I think we really need to look at it today.
MyStep is one of the quick wins that we are doing right now. But what are some of the other quick wins that you think we should have? Not just under Belanjawan 2024, but the government policy as a whole.
The legislation is one, definitely, in terms of outlawing the fact that you can only hire based on a certain age. And the second is just a simple initiative that just looks at how we can provide the kind of training. You've got a lot of TVET training available for younger generation. Why not do a seniors TVET, right? A similar option where after I retire, I can go in, learn a new skill, come out, either do my own business, or I can return to the workforce and upskill myself, right? So those are things that your infrastructure is already there. It's about just shifting it and saying, okay, maybe we open it up to a different segment, right? So those are some of the ideas that, there's actually a lot of things that can be done. I think it's just the will. There has to be the will to do it.
Should we focus also on the foreign direct investment and domestic direct investment by putting, you should hire more seniors as one of the, things that you should consider in order for us to give you ways to invest in Malaysia? Should that be implemented?
Well, I think that's a very important aspect that we want to, but I don't believe in
putting people.
I don't believe in putting extra restrictions that we already have so many of in the first place. So, but I think that if we put in sort of the carrot rather than the stick, approach, I think that could perhaps work a little bit better with companies.
But overall, do you see that from the government side and from the community side, individual side, are we on the right track to build up all this ecosystem in facing each nation?
I think from the commercial side, we are starting to see a pickup and more interest in hiring of older workers. From the government as well, I think what we've seen, because we've just been called in to give input to the budget as well, I think the how do you say, the intent, the niat is there. I really just hope that we see it, in reality.
Okay. Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us. To me, it's very easy. If we see our leaders, they are more than 70 years old, if they can still work and service the country, all the societies should have the opportunity to service and to contribute to economic positively. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for joining us. Itu saja untuk episod kali ini. Saya Najib Arif. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sebagai seorang usahawan atau pengusaha bisnes kecil dan sederhana, anda mesti sentiasa mencari ilmu, ilham atau apa jua kandungan yang dapat menambah baik atau mengembangkan bisnes anda, bukan? Jiwa SME tahun ini akan ke 5 lokasi. Zon Borneo, Zon Utara, Zon Selatan, Pantai Timur pun ada, dan Kuala Lumpur. Pelbagai aktiviti akan dijalankan, termasuklah sesi perkongsian dari pakar-pakar dan influencer terpilih, workshop untuk upskill dan ruang pameran. Untuk segala info dan update, sila layari www.jiwasme.com.my. Dalam masa sama, jangan lupa untuk ikuti program khas Jiwa SME di saluran 501 Astro Awani dan semua platform media sosial Astro Awani.
Kelakar sangat apabila seorang pensyarah boleh buat sesuka hati dia. Tapi bila pelajar cuba untuk dapat keadilan, dia kena hukum.
Anyway, sekarang kita orang tengah cari lead singer. Kau nak join tak?
Nama I Suzy. I sebenarnya sangat-sangat impressed dengan performance korang tadi.
Awak sudah mencemarkan nama seorang pensyarah yang belum terbukti bersalah.
Selamat pagi semua. Saya Prof Hamzah.
Komen saya ialah, orang tua gata si pecabul haram jadah tu boleh pergi mampus.
Justice that this institution did not provide for in the first place.
Forgive me, Father. Kita kena lawan.
Riot, Rebel with a Cause. Stream new episodes every Friday on demand and Astro Premiere.
Hai, saya Lahuda, kakak fiber anda. Dan hari ini saya ada satu soalan nak share dari Aida Bahar. Dia tanya, Wi-Fi cover satu rumah ke? Handphone boleh cover? Dah tentu Astro Fiber dengan router canggih Wi-Fi 6 boleh cover satu rumah, satu family boleh pakai. Bukan saja semua handphone boleh jimat data pakai Wi-Fi. Anak-anak nak buat homework online pun senang. Ini ada satu lagi tips jimat kita nak bagi tahu. Bila you nak keluar rumah, downloadlah cerita siap-siap dekat Astro Go app tu. Lepas tu, boleh layan dalam train, dalam kereta, dalam flight. Tak kacau data handphone you langsung. Jimat dah tu Aida. Ada lagi soalan? Tanyalah. Gunakan hashtag Tanya Kakak Fiber. Okey?
Banjir ini luar biasa.
Lan ni memang menyeramkan.
Setiap masalah dihadapi bangsa pasti ada punca dan dalangnya. Tugas kami untuk mencari, mendengar dan membongkar sebarang isu atau masalah agar ada penyelesaian. Setiap sudut akan diteliti, penjelasan semua pihak akan diamati. Tiada fakta yang akan disembunyi.
Kita bongkar semua, dedah sampai habis.
Mendedahkan kepincangan, rasuah dan masalah rakyat jadi tanggungjawab yang kami galas. 501 Bongkar, terpaling dedah.
Apa jua yang berlaku di sekeliling kita, pastinya ada punca dan kesan masing-masing. Faktor harga ekonomi, pengaruh politik dalam atau luar negara memberikan impak kepada kehidupan harian kita. Di Niaga Awani kami memberikan gambaran jelas melalui analisis mendalam, merentas pelbagai segmen dan latar belakang. Kami akan bantu anda untuk faham segalanya. Bisnes, ekonomi, pasaran, Niaga Awani, 9 pagi Isnin hingga Jumaat, hanya di Astro Awani.
Voice kali ni dah macam bukan pertandingan nyanyian. Dah macam pertandingan jenayah dah.
Aku terima kau yang dulu. Tapi aku tak boleh terima kau yang lepas ni.
Dia tu baik tau.
Sibuk backup bertiga tu.
Anak aku mana?
Kau jaga anak aku. Sekarang di hospital.
Kalau I tak ada jin, I lost, babe. I lost. I rasa you ada problem.
$1 million bonus.
Stream di Astro dan On Demand.
Penjelajahan diteruskan. Kali ini, ianya lebih sengit. Satu regimen yang meninggalkan kesan mendalam. Dan satu peluang untuk membuktikan kehebatan. Rasai bahagia Arctic Open secara langsung di Astro Supersport dan Astro Go.
Kiev menganggarkan Rusia menghantar lebih 400,000 askar di kawasan yang dikawalnya di timur dan selatan Ukraine.
Sekitar 8,000 kes kehilangan kad pengenalan MyCard direkodkan di seluruh negara setiap tahun.
MCMC telah mengadakan perbincangan kawal selia dengan platform dalam talian terkemuka iaitu Meta dan Google bagi menangani cabaran media dalam talian.
Ikuti perkembangan terkini. Buletin Awani 12.30 hari.
Kami digelar 6 jam sebabnya kami sangat akrab dan mungkin kami sedikit nakal kot masa tu.
Budak-budak tim kriket ni ada masalah disiplin kan? Ponting, rosak harta benda, pencuri.
Kita orang benci kriket. Cikgu yang pasal kita orang main.
Kata kau semua tolong saya. Saya janji lepas menang. Kau semua tak payah hadir dalam tim kriket saya.
Eksklusif di Astro. Saksikan JDT, Sabah FC dan Terengganu FC dalam perlawanan penuh berprestij.
Musim ini musim terbaik. JDT berjaya mendapatkan gol yang dicari-cari mereka.
Demi menjulang maruah negara, Harimau Melaya bakal menentang pencabar Asia di Pesta Bola Merdeka. Semua ini secara langsung dan eksklusif. Switch sekarang.
Perkembangan situasi semasa.
Beberapa negara di selatan Asia Tenggara dijangka dilanda jerebu berikutan pengesanan 353 titik panas.
Kerajaan akan membincangkan soal caj transaksi duit Now QR dalam mesyuarat khas.
Setiap suara pasti didengar.
Perdana Menteri mengakui wujud keresahan berkaitan kenaikan harga barangan yang memberi kesan kepada perbelanjaan rakyat.
Ikuti segalanya hanya di Awani 745.